Hi, this is Beatrice with BakeDeco, and today I want to share with you a few basic techniques on how to create your cake borders. You can create so many variations of styles by following these techniques and just switching out the tip. So let's get right into the 4 most popular ways to style your borders. Learning to pipe can seem a little bit intimidating when you're first starting out, but with a few different tips and a few different techniques, you'll be piping great borders in no time. So what you first want to do is start off with a piping bag. This piping bag has a coupler attached to it, which is great for being able to switch out tips. The coupler right here is what holds the tip in place, and then it is then screwed in so that the tip will stay in place while you're piping. When you're using disposable bags, it's not necessary to use a coupler if you're only going to be using one tip, but if you're going to be switching out to several different tips, then I highly recommend using couplers because it's going to make your life so much easier. I like to tie the end of my bag either with a decorating tie, or you can just tie a knot if you don't have one of these. You can also use a rubber band. But this is going to help to keep your icing inside the bag. So what will happen is often if you're not using this while you're piping, you'll realize that some of your icing is actually falling out of your bag and it just creates a mess. So this just helps to keep things in place and helps to make cleanup easier. So when I place my tie, I want to leave a little bit of space for my icing to kind of move freely. And the reason that I do that is because I want to be able to twist the bag. I actually need to move this a little bit, make a little bit more room. This makes it easy for me to twist the bag, and this gives me more control over my icing. So I'm just placing a bowl here for any excess icing. Okay. What you don't want to do is pipe from the top of your bag. Piping from the top of your bag is going to cause all of the icing below to come out from the tip, but you have less control of your design in this way. The best way is to split this in half so that you're able to twist, and there's a much smaller portion of icing to control. So while you're practicing, it's good to have a bowl so that you're able to pipe a few designs, and then you can just scrape off that icing and reuse it if you place it in your bowl. We're going to start out with my favorite basic tip, and I love to make borders with a closed star tip. This is also the most commonly used tip to make borders. So we're going to start out with a classic shell border, and I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can use a closed star tip. So you want to go into a 45-degree angle. You don't want to pipe straight up with your bag straight up or too far to the side. So a 45-degree angle is the perfect angle to achieve a good border. So when we're creating shells, we are applying pressure and releasing. Apply pressure, release. Apply pressure, release. And you kind of just want to do the same thing all around your cake or all around your mat. Another very simple and easy border for beginners would be a rosette border. So for your rosette border, you want to pipe swirls with your closed star tip. You can also use an open star tip. So you start from the center. You want to wrap around and end around the part where you began. So you want to end somewhere in the center. And you're just piping little rosettes all around your border. And this is a very fun, cute border. And it's so easy to do. You can even cover a whole cake in this, which is the first design that I always recommend for beginners, is to start with a piped rosette cake. So there's a popular rope design that I really love, and it almost looks like a heart. So you're doing a shell from each side, and you're just wrapping it around the border of your cake. This is actually one of my favorite borders. This one's beautiful on Valentine's Day. You could do a pink rope. Okay, and as you run out of buttercream or icing, that's when you'll pull down some of that buttercream. You wanna make sure that you don't have too much buttercream, because what will happen is eventually your hand will start to cramp. And that's definitely a problem that a lot of bakers have, where their hands cramp and they have hand pain, and it might be because they're using too much buttercream, and it's making them apply too much pressure just to get the icing out. And for our last closed star tip border, we're gonna do a scroll border, and this is a beautiful design that can be used on wedding cakes. So you want to do a shell that curls down, and then a shell that curls up. And you're just doing that across. But those are just a few border ideas that you can do with a closed star tip. Remember that you can switch out into any tip, and using the same technique, you'll just have slightly different designs, but these can be used for all kinds of cakes, wedding cakes, party cakes, depending on the occasion. You know, you can use a fancier tip, but with practice, you will master these in no time, and you will be able to do piped borders with your eyes closed. We hope you enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to like and subscribe for more.